Okay, so let's get right into it. SpaceX has launched its massive Starship rocket again, and you know whenever that happens, the world stops to watch. But this latest test flight, it's creating a whole different kind of buzz. So what exactly went down, and what does this all mean for the future of space exploration? Look, if you've been keeping up with the Starship program, you know the drill. Its development has been, well, let's just say very public. SpaceX has this funny term for it, rapid, unscheduled disassemblies. Yeah, for the rest of us, that just means explosions. So, as this latest rocket launched, the question on everyone's mind was pretty simple. Are we about to see another spectacular fireball? Well, the answer this time was a big, clear nope. This flight was different. In fact, it was a huge success for the entire SpaceX team and really marks a massive step forward for the whole program. And get this was the 11th test flight. Just think about that number for a second. It's a powerful reminder of how modern rocketry works. You test, you fail, you learn, and you do it all over again. Getting to this one success took 10 other attempts, and you better believe they learned some crucial lessons from every single one. Okay, so what did this successful mission actually look like? Let's break down the journey from the moment it left the ground to its final destination. The whole thing really happened in 3 main parts. First up, you had the launch, lifting off from the Starbase facility down in Texas. Then, the rocket traveled for over an hour, which, by the way, is a ton of time to collect all sorts of data on how it's performing. And finally, the big finish, a controlled, successful splashdown right in the Indian Ocean. I mean, from start to finish, it was pretty much a picture-perfect flight. You know, a flight this smooth is fantastic, but it kind of begs the question, how did they get here? Because as we've already hinted, Starship's path to success has been anything but a straight line. It's been pretty bumpy, to say the least. Yeah, to really appreciate this achievement, we've got to look back at the challenging journey that came before it. The program's recent turnaround has been pretty dramatic. I mean, before August, when you thought of Starship, you probably thought of that long streak of fiery test failures. But the flight back in August, that broke the streak. And now, with another successful mission under their belt, SpaceX isn't just succeeding. It's building some serious momentum. We're talking 2 successful flights in a row. That is a massive deal. A successful flight is obviously great news, but every single one of these tests has a very specific purpose, right? It's not just about getting from point A to point B without, blowing up. So what was the real tech goals SpaceX was aiming for here? Well, the answer really comes down to one single incredibly important concept that drives pretty much everything SpaceX does: reusability. See, the core goal of this whole program is to perfect a fully reusable design. For decades, rockets were a one-and-done deal. Just imagine throwing away an entire airplane after just one trip. It's wild. By creating a system that can be launched, landed, and then relaunched, SpaceX wants to slash the cost of getting to space. And the successful test? It's a huge piece of data, proving that the revolutionary concept can actually work. But here's the thing. As revolutionary as a reusable rocket is, that's not actually the end goal. It's really just the key that unlocks a much, much bigger and way more ambitious vision for the future of humanity. So where is all this technology, all this testing, and all this investment ultimately supposed to take us? Well, SpaceX's Elon Musk says it all. This isn't just about launching satellites more cheaply. Nope. The ultimate goal for Starship is to carry humans back to the moon and, for the first time in history, to the surface of Mars. Okay, so let's put it all together. The objective is to transport people. First stop, the moon. Second, an even bigger stop, Mars. This whole thing is being driven by SpaceX, under the vision of Elon Musk. And every successful test, just like this one, is a real, tangible step toward these incredible destinations. Which brings us to our final thought here. Each successful flight, each piece of data they get from a splashdown in the Indian Ocean, it chips away at one of the biggest technological challenges humanity has ever faced. So with this latest success, you have to wonder, is that science fiction dream of a multiplanetary future slowly but surely becoming a reality?
All right. Let's talk about SpaceX's 11th Starship flight, because this mission is way more than just another spectacular launch from Texas. It's actually the end of a huge chapter in one of the most ambitious space programs, ever.
You're probably thinking, okay,
Another SpaceX launch? What's the big deal, right? Is this just one more test flight in a long line of them? Not even close. This flight is a massive turning point for the whole Starship program. It's basically drawing a line in the sand between the past and the future. Okay, so let's dive in and really break down what makes this 11th flight so critical and honestly, so symbolic for SpaceX. Yep, this is number 11, the 11th integrated flight test of the full Starship stack, roaring to life from Starbase, Texas. Now, every single flight has been a step forward, a learning experience, but this one is designed to be the final giant leap for this version of the rocket. And what's really interesting here is that this mission is all about two big lasts. It's not just the final flight for the version 2 rocket design, it's also the last time they're going to use Pad A as we know it. It's a true double farewell. All right, let's shift gears and talk about the Super Heavy Booster B15. Because even on its very last flight, this piece of hardware is pushing the envelope and testing something brand new for the future. So here's the big change, the new trick they're trying out. Before, for that crazy, nail-biting landing burn, the booster would throttle down to just 3 engines. Now, they're using 5. So you gotta ask, why change it now, right at the very end of the V2 program?
Well, SpaceX's logic is actually pretty simple. It all comes down to redundancy. Having more engines just gives you a bigger safety net in case one of them decides to quit unexpectedly. Think of it as a crucial reliability upgrade that they're testing for the next generation of boosters.
And hey, it's not just the booster getting all the attention. The Starship vehicle itself, S-38, has an incredibly ambitious flight plan. They are trying to squeeze every last drop of useful data out of this thing before it's retired. I mean, just look at this to-do list. They're going to deploy some mock satellites, try to relight an engine in space, and get this, they're intentionally flying with some heat shield tiles missing just to measure the stress. Then they're going to top it all off with a complex banking maneuver before its final splashdown. Yeah, talk about a packed day at the office. And that engine relight test, that's not just a nice to have, you know? It is absolutely fundamental for future orbital missions. This is the one capability that unlocks everything, changing orbit, dropping off payloads exactly where they need to go, and, most importantly, bringing the ship home safely. That dynamic banking maneuver isn't just for style points either. As SpaceX puts it, this is a full-on dress rehearsal. They're testing the guidance software the vehicle will need to one day navigate its way back for a picture-perfect landing right at the launch site. So when you put all these pieces together, all these ambitious tests, they're really all serving one big purpose, to close out the entire version 2 development phase on a massive high note and walk away with a mountain of valuable data. And that's a key point. After Flight 11, that's it for Starship launches this year. SpaceX is hitting the pause button. The focus is going to shift completely from flying the old hardware to finishing up the new. This flight really marks a clear dividing line. The past, version 2, that was all about these suborbital test flights from Pad A, but the future, version 3, that's all about the orbital dream, and it's gonna fly from the brand new Pad B, complete with that monster flame trench. So, with the V2 chapter closing, hopefully with a successful splashdown, what does the next chapter look like? What's the deal with the highly anticipated version 3? We actually have a pretty clear hint from SpaceX's VP, William Gerstenmaier. He's confirmed that even with this shiny new and improved rocket, they're not just going to aim for orbit on the very first try. The plan is to start with at least one suborbital flight to test out all the new systems before they go for the grand prize. And that, right there, is the ultimate takeaway. Flight 11 isn't just an end, it's a culmination. It's like graduation day. The entire version 2 program, with all its fiery mishaps and incredible successes, has been the foundation, gathering all the crucial data they need to make that next giant leap possible. Which, of course, leaves us with the big question. With all the lessons learned from version 2 and a brand new rocket ready to take its place, will version 3 be the one that finally fulfills the promise and reaches orbit? I guess we'll have to wait and see.